unbelievable luck. A referee falls down, a puck changes direction, and the Maple Leafs grab a huge win.
One I'm sure Blackwood would like to have. Credit Lorentz. Sutherland tried to get out of the way, thought it was maybe going up into his head, and then lost his balance. And
have you ever been playing street hockey when something totally unexpected happens? Maybe a car drove by, or a dog ran through the game and everything changed in a split second. Well, something just like that happened in a real NHL game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Colorado Avalanche. Except this time, it was a referee who took a tumble and completely changed the game. It was an ordinary Wednesday night at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The Maple Leafs were playing against one of the best teams in hockey, the Colorado Avalanche. The game was super close, tied 1-1 early in the third period. The Maple Leafs were in trouble. They had too many players on the ice. That's a no-no in hockey, so they got a penalty. This meant the Avalanche, with their amazing players like MacKinnon and Cale, Makar, had a power play and a really good chance to score. Things weren't looking good for Toronto. The Avalanche had already taken way more shots than the Maple Leafs. If it wasn't for Toronto's goalie, Woll, who was making save after amazing save, Colorado would have been winning by a lot more. Then something totally weird happened that nobody could have expected. The puck was behind the Toronto net. Maple Leafs defenseman Simon Benoit grabbed it and fired it down the ice to waste some time off the penalty. Normally, this puck would have traveled all the way down the ice, but referee Kelly Sutherland was standing near the center of the rink. He saw the puck coming at him and tried to jump out of the way, but oops! He lost his balance and fell right on his behind. The puck hit him and bounced in a completely different direction than everyone expected. I'm not sure what happened with the ref, said Maple Leafs forward Steven Lorentz after the game. I saw him go down a little bit and saw the puck squirt loose, so I thought I might as well reroute. Lorentz, who grew up as a huge Maple Leafs fan just 60 miles away from Toronto, quickly changed direction, grabbed the loose puck, and zoomed down the left side of the ice. With a perfect shot, he fired the puck right into the top corner of the net, past Colorado's goalie Mackenzie Blackwood. Goal! And not just any goal. A shorthanded goal. That means Toronto scored while they had fewer players on the ice because of their penalty. That almost never happens. The crowd went wild. Lorentz dropped to one knee and pumped his fist in celebration. It was like something out of a movie or a dream. Oh man, you can't possibly make this up, said former NHL goalie Brian Boucher, who was announcing the game on TV. Even Toronto's goalie Woll couldn't believe what he had seen. I mean, I'll take it for sure, he said with a laugh after the game. Bounces happen. It was unfortunate for them, but it was nice to be on the right side of it. The Avalanche coach Jared Bednar was obviously not as happy. That one was a little strange, he said, and it couldn't have come at a worse time. The Maple Leafs held on to win the game 2-1, stopping Colorado's impressive streak of 9 games with at least 1 point. The win was super important for Toronto because it moved them into a tie for first place in their division with the Florida Panthers. Both teams now have 85 points, just ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning with 83. For Lorentz, scoring the winning goal while wearing the Maple Leafs jersey was a dream come true. "It's surreal every game," he said. "I take pride pulling on that jersey every single game, and I mean that." I talked to myself about that. You know, scoring a goal like that tonight, you think of just being a little kid jumping into the glass. It's definitely cool. None of this would have happened without the amazing Woll in goal for Toronto. He stopped 38 shots from the Avalanche, many of them super hard to save. With the playoffs coming up next month, Woll is showing he might be the goalie the Maple Leafs need to go far. "I thought it was a great team win for us," Woll said. "I thought we did a great job of locking it down after we scored that go-ahead goal. That's a really good team over there. Just a big win." So remember kids, next time you're playing hockey and something unexpected happens, like a referee falling down, keep your eyes open. You never know when a lucky bounce might give you a chance to be the hero, just like Steven Lorentz was for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Gloves are off. This is reminiscent of the old days. The big boys have come to play. McDavid!
Remember the Winnipeg Jets from a couple months ago? The team that was the toast of the NHL, sitting on top of the standings looking like an unstoppable force with the best goaltender in the league? Yeah, that same team just got steamrolled in the first round of the playoffs by the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games. Not exactly the storybook-ending Jets fans were hoping for after one of the most dominant regular seasons in franchise history. So what the hell happened? How does a team go from potentially winning the President's Trophy to getting bounced in the first round? Let's take a deeper look at the collapse of the Winnipeg Jets and try to make sense of this playoff disaster. First, let's remember just how good this Jets team was in the regular season. At the All-Star break, Winnipeg was 32-9-5, good for 69 points in just 46 games. They were on pace for 123 points, which would have been the best in franchise history by a country mile. Connor Hellebuyck was putting up video game numbers with a .925 save percentage and multiple shutouts. This team looked like they were built for a deep playoff run. The defense was suffocating, the offense was clicking, and the special teams were humming. Remember that power play? It was a thing of beauty, with Nikolai Ehlers and Mark Scheifele running that near-perfect 1-3-1 formation, shifting positions to create those cross-ice one-timers that goalies had no chance on. The penalty kill was just as good, with players willing to sacrifice their bodies to block shots and keep Hellebuyck's workload manageable. And that's what made this team so damn impressive. They didn't rely solely on Hellebuyck to win games. They had that balanced attack with Gabriel Velarde emerging as a legitimate top 6 forward. The young guys like Cole Perfetti were taking the next step, and vets like Adam Lowry were playing the best hockey of their careers. But if we're being honest with ourselves, there were warning signs heading into the playoffs. After that blistering first half, the Jets went 19-16-3 the rest of the way. That's essentially a .500 hockey team, which isn't going to scare anybody in the playoffs. The offense, which looked so dynamic early in the season, dried up. In their final 20 regular season games, the Jets averaged just 2.65 goals per game, which would rank 25th in the league over a full season. Players who were carrying the mail earlier in the year disappeared. Kyle Connor's shooting percentage plummeted. Ehlers cooled off. Suddenly, those creative zone entries that had penalty killers spinning weren't working anymore. Defensively, the team was still solid. Dylan DeMello and Josh Morrissey were still playing at a high level, but the depth pieces started showing cracks. Teams were finding ways to expose the more defensively challenged blue liners like Neil Pionk in ways they weren't earlier in the season. And then there was the matter of their record against top teams. Against Colorado, Dallas, and Vegas, the cream of the crop in the West, the Jets went a combined 4-8-1 in the regular season. Not exactly inspiring confidence for a potential playoff matchup. When the playoffs rolled around, we all wondered which Jets team would show up, the world beaters from the first half or the mediocre squad from the second half. Unfortunately for Winnipeg fans, it was the latter. Game 1 gave false hope. The Jets came out flying, won 7-6 in a wild back-and-forth affair that had Rick Bowness looking like he was about to have a heart attack on the bench. But even in victory, the warning signs were there. Hellebuyck giving up 6 goals? That's not the recipe for playoff success. Then the wheels fell off. 4 straight losses, each more depressing than the last. The Avalanche exposed every weakness the Jets had and created some new ones along the way. First, they absolutely neutralized Winnipeg's forecheck. Remember that aggressive F1 and F2 pressure that created so many turnovers in the regular season? Colorado's mobile defensemen made that look like a pee-wee strategy. Cale, Makar, and Devin Toews were breaking the puck out with ease, making the Jets' forwards look like they were skating in quicksand. Then there was the matter of the special teams. That once lethal Jets power play went an abysmal 2 for 18 in the series. A success rate of 11.1% isn't going to cut it in the playoffs. Colorado's aggressive penalty kill pressured the point, taking away that comfortable setup time that Morrissey needed to quarterback the PP. And when the Jets did get shots through, Alexander Georgiev was there to shut the door. On the flip side, the Avalanche power play carved up the Jets' penalty kill. Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen were picking corners like they were playing in a practice drill, not a playoff game against supposedly one of the best defensive teams in the league. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about Hellebuyck, the Hart Trophy finalist and best goalie in the league? Surely he kept the Jets in it. Well, not exactly. Look, Hellebuyck wasn't awful. His .891 save percentage in the series isn't going to win any awards, but it's not like he was letting in softies from the red line. The problem was that he wasn't superhuman, which is what the Jets needed him to be with the way the skaters in front of him were playing. The biggest issue was the high danger chances. Colorado got to the danger areas at will, and even Hellebuyck can't stop point-blank chances from elite shooters consistently. the Avalanche had 24 high-danger chances in Game 4 alone. I don't care if you've got prime Dominik Hasek in net, that's not sustainable. And that's the thing about relying on goaltending too much, it's great until it isn't. Hellebuyck kept them in games they had no business being in all season. When he was merely good instead of otherworldly in the playoffs, the house of cards collapsed. Beyond the X's and O's, there's also the mental aspect to consider. This Jets team has been through the playoff ringer before and consistently come up short. At some point, that starts to weigh on a group. When Colorado took control of the series, you could see the "here we go again" mentality creep in. The body language on the bench in Games 3 and 4 told the story. Players staring at the ice, no communication, coaches looking lost for answers. It was the look of a team that deep down didn't truly believe they could beat Colorado 4 times in 7 games. It's that killer instinct, that belief in themselves that separates good teams from great ones in the playoffs. The Jets can talk all they want about learning experiences and building for next year. But at some point, you have to wonder if this core group simply doesn't have what it takes mentally to get over the hump. So where do the Jets go from here? That's the million-dollar question that GM Kevin Cheveldayoff has to answer this summer. The core is locked up long-term. Hellebuyck, Scheifele, and Connor aren't going anywhere with their contracts. Morrissey is still one of the best defensemen in the league. There's young talent in the pipeline with Perfetti, Rutger McGroarty, and Brad Lambert, but this feels like a team that needs a bit of a shakeup. Whether that's a coaching change, a trade involving one of the core pieces, or just a recalibration of expectations, something has to give. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Maybe they look to add some speed on the wings to match up better with teams like Colorado. Maybe they need more sandpaper in the bottom 6, guys who can disrupt the clean zone exits that hurt them so badly against the Avalanche. Or maybe they just need a culture change, someone to come in and instill that killer instinct that seems to be missing when the games matter most. Whatever the solution, one thing is clear. The Jets can't run it back with the same group and expect different results. This playoff disappointment should be the catalyst for change in Winnipeg, not just another "we'll get 'em next year" moment. Because right now, the Jets look like the regular season lions and playoff lambs that NHL history is littered with. And unless something changes, they're destined to be remembered as one of the great what-could-have-been teams of this era. They've got the pieces to be special, but until they figure out how to elevate their game when it matters most, they'll be stuck in the same cycle of regular season success and playoff disappointment. So, what do you think, Jets fans? Is this team still on the right track, or is it time to blow it up and try something new? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.